Welcome back, Halo Wars type people. This is Elysium X Limits and some random, and I don't actually know his name, but yeah, he's pretty good and all. So this is Forging Down, Velocity, and Velocity's boyfriend. I don't remember his name either. Snipes. Sorry about that, Snipes. And so right here, I expo right off the bat, build my hog, and we have Anders RB. They got Anders Brute RB. So I don't know. In my opinion, this matchup is actually pretty even, except for their Brute Chieftain decides to rush, our Arbiter instead of hitting me, and I think it's kind of vital that like a Brute Chieftain hits an Anders. But yeah, whatever. So actually, the previous game we played, we won, and Forge was calling Limits a pussy and saying, you know, oh, you're not going to search again. So we did search again, and we won. Nothing, no surprise there. So here we go. Limits grabs the Expo right away, and our Arbiter goes Temple third. Now the previous game, our Arbiter went Temple second, which kind of sucks because if he went Temple second this game, it would have been a much more important because the Brute Chieftain rushes our Arbiter. So right away I was built that hog gathering resources, and I actually decided to go barracks right away because I think I might actually get the hooks faster, which is actually incorrect, but you know, disregard that, I still get Goss nonetheless. So right there, Brute Chieftain's hitting Limits' Expo. I tell him to upgrade it as quick as he can. Get the ram on the Brute, so there's only one Brute's God there, and his chopper comes, so I kind of get the one hog out of there, move my other hog in to get a ram. Doesn't really do a very good job of ramming, but get my hog out of there. Keep queuing supply pads on my base. Now our Arbiter's out Temple third. He's just gonna rage down the Brute here. What I think is really good is that even if Limits loses this expansion here, it's basically just a time cushion allowing me to get Goss and whatnot, and they're gonna put quite a bit of money, grunts and brutes and vortexing in to just to destroy it, and so it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know what I was saying there, but there you go. There's all the 4 grunts running into the base, and there's the vortexing, so they've spent quite a fair deal of money, which means that our Tio guy is, you know, economically ahead of their Chieftain / Arbiter, even though Limits is a little bit behind. So there we go. I actually, this game, instead of clearing the hooks with 3 gunner hogs, build 4 flamers, and then I attempt to get the hook, except for I go barracks 4th, when I think it actually would have been ideal for me to go barracks a little bit earlier, because then I would have got both the hooks without a problem. So there we go. Cue my gunner, start building hogs, and they are hitting our Teal's base. And now Limits has gotten his temple out on his main base, and our guy is pinging for Limits to go to the reactors to stop their Anders from getting Goss. So Limits heads his way up there, and then their red Arbiter, as you see here, is coming to stop me from getting the hooks, and my 4 flamers are just barely getting to the first hook, which is kind of unfortunate. I should have gone barracks much earlier. So micro my flamers, get that sniper first. He's in the back, unfortunately. Get one of my flamers in the hook as the Arbiter just comes out, goes into rage mode. I got the hook, all's well, and he's raging, which is costing him money, which means he won't get air out anytime soon, except he will get all the money from this hook. So then I just send my hog to behind his base because I just want to see, you know, what their bases look like. But then I decide, if the Arbiter wants to share money with me, then why not? So then I notice the Chieftain's also going to my reactor, and I'm getting my 3rd tech up on my main base, so I kind of freak out and say, hey, you gotta kill that Brute Chieftain, because if not, he'll vortex me out of the hook and then I won't get Goss. So our Teal Arbiter rages down his Chieftain. Chieftain doesn't really do much of a rush other than destroy Limits' expansion. Limits is at their reactors. I'm kind of super surprised that Forge doesn't have them yet, because I would have had both of them. So Limits is stopping Forge from getting that hook. I don't know why he didn't build a grunt and throw it in. Maybe he didn't have the eco or whatnot. So Q and Goss blow up my reactor, get my reserves up, and somehow Forge managed to sneak a marine by and get it into the hook. So and since it's really quite low health, I was just gonna send a hog there and kill it, except for Forge has a ton of hogs. I'm pinging and saying, hey Limits, there's a ton of hogs here, but I don't know, Limits doesn't like me or something and doesn't listen. So poor micro my hogs there, because the hog just keeps going up to his base, which is kind of unfortunate. So as you see there, there's a marine at my hook, which means that Forge pelicaned, and it doesn't matter because I have the hook, and the other hook is garrisoned by our teal arbiter. So I got my Goss up there. I take Forge quickly out of the hook, and now since I have reserves, I DQ that reactor. So Forge now is in 0 hooks, and I think he still has Grenadier. Limits goes down to the location I pinged, except he recalled and then walked over there, which I think is kind of silly, but whatever. I think he was scared of all the Grenadiers going to his base and like debombing or whatever. So now I stopped Forge from getting in that hook again, so Forge is still on Tech 1 or Tech 2, something not very good because he's incapable of getting in the hook. So he has a ton of hogs, but I have Goss. So now I say, Limits, you need to go up to Forge's top expansion because that is where his base is. And Limits isn't listening, I don't know. But now their chieftain has banshees, so I'm just microing my hogs trying to kill him, because we don't want him to get too many and have that get out of hand. So I'm down on 1 tech because I got 1 marine in the hook, and I'm just pumping out hogs. Now Limits is listening. I finally ping up there and say, hey Limits, get your fucking arbiter up there. Forge is really predictable and his hogs are definitely up there, so Limits decides to listen to me and send his arbiter up there. So Forge is not in any of the hooks, as you see. I checked right there really quick. I don't have very many hogs, but I have enough. So as you see on Velocity's base, he has no air or anything. He's going all arbiter. So now Limits listen to me as I told him to, because Limits is my good little puppy dog. And Forge loses all his hogs, and Velocity's arbiter is incapable of killing Limits' all arbiter because Limits' arbiter is super OP. So our Parax, or whatever you want to call him, is going up to the hogs, except he didn't realize that they were all already killed. Me as a good UNSC already drops that heal on Limits right away when he recalls, and I'm just gonna drop this base here, but unfortunately just as I get the shield down, their arbiter comes. So I'm actually not, queuing up a ton of hogs because I knew their RB was gonna come down here and I wanted to save enough money for a debomb. So their arbiter is now dead, and I'm gonna get my hogs out of there because they have a ton of banshees plus a couple of Goss hogs. And Limits' arbiter actually is incapable of coming over here because of my debomb. So because I'm losing hogs and hitting the base, I just back off a little bit, except I don't want the shield to get back up, so I'm just gonna come around the other side and knock out the shield and then just get out of there, because then we'll have 30 more seconds. Alright, here we go. Shield's down, and Limits doesn't really listen to me or fails at raging, and I say, hey bro, there's hogs at the front, rage them down, and Limits, doesn't really get them at all, which kind of is unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter. So I don't know if you've noticed, but all game I've been grabbing expansions, but like my teammates asked for a click, so I had to recycle and give them a click, or their hogs or banshees would stop my expansion, which is kind of unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter because I feel like my money went to good use. So my hog numbers are actually quite super low right now, which is kind of unfortunate, so I just back off to get up my numbers, queue a couple hogs, and go for my expansion, except they have way too many banshees in the field, which is going to stop that in a second. And as I check, Red Arbiter's out. Can't get that expansion, which kind of sucks. Only got, I don't know how many hogs, but not very many on the field. Keep queuing hogs now that what's his name doesn't have summits up. He can't really build banshees, and he only has the ones he got, and his eco's just kind of getting torn apart. I noticed that the forge has expanded up top, so I just notify my teammates about the hogs down there, and limits rages down, forges hogs, and gets forges expansion. So I think if we actually didn't catch his expansion here, it could have kind of been super unfortunate for us, but it doesn't really matter. There I go with my epic heal on our Arbiter. Also, the really good thing about this random third covey guy we got here is he builds vampires and knows how to build units when Limits doesn't really build units, but doesn't matter because Limits got that epic rage. So here he goes with trying to get that shield up again. Limits doesn't know that the vamps are shooting at the base and decides to raid their base. There's their RB stopping my expansion for the 100th time. Send up my hogs. Just kind of want to take out his base right here. But I want to grab an expansion as well. Can't really grab the expansion because life sucks. Keep queuing up my hogs. We got Limits' Arbiter raging. I queue up my expansion. Just as I queue up my expansion, Limits begs for clicks. DQ base, give Limits the clicks. Because I love Limits so much. But not more than Jade because I love Jade so much. So there's the rest of his few banshees boosting around. I got now quite a few hogs in the field. There's the Red Arbiter, half health. Our purple Arbiter, give him a free heal right there, except I actually clicked me. See his Arbiter, and I decide who needs a D-bomb when he's low health and only tech 1. Boom, rammed out, dead. And now time to win the game. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please comment, rate, subscribe. There you go, Tech 2 Arbiter plus Vamps for the win. And love y'all, but I love Jade more.